Well, President Trump taking to Twitter to slam Hillary Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin, for forwarding sensitive information to her Yahoo account. The Daily Caller reporter who broke the story, Luke Rosiak, explaining to Fox and Friends First the severity of the problem.
When she first came on board on this new job, they sent her passwords, all the government systems. The first thing she does is turn around and email it to her Yahoo account. In 2012, it's well known that Yahoo has these issues. It's all over the news on a particular date that it's been hacked. 5 days later, she's sending classified information about Syria to Yahoo.
So, should the DOJ step in and investigate? Here now to weigh in is Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton. Tom, thank you very much for joining us. And we should say, if it wasn't for Judicial Watch, actually, none of this would be happening. So you're actually responsible for this story breaking and people knowing about it.
Yeah, well, it required a lot of litigation by our attorneys and such. And it's been 2 years just trying to get the records that were released last week by the State Department. Remember, the FBI found these records last year, and they're only releasing them now. And so there's classified information in these emails, which is against the law. That's right. You're not allowed to take classified information out of government systems or out of unsecure systems, and this is what happened with the Clinton email system that was set up. Abedin testified last year to Judicial Watch. It was Hillary Clinton's idea to set the system up. Abedin was the only other State Department official, as far as we know, who had an email account on the system, and she was sending material, both she and Hillary Clinton, that was classified, and receiving that material as well. And it turns out you had classified material also on Abedin's husband's laptop at the time, the infamous Anthony Weiner. This just cries out for a criminal investigation. The fact that Comey and the rest of the FBI there, presumably Peter Strzok was there, the anti-Trumper FBI special counter-intel person, they just let this go by without any prosecution or any serious investigation. And take me back to that moment, back during the election when they announced that they did find additional emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop, but then they let it go. They did, and presumably these 4 or 5 documents that were uncovered on Friday were known to the FBI at the time, but they let it go. Remember, there was other classified material they already knew about, so it was just outrage on top of outrage in terms of the failure of the FBI and Justice Department to follow up on this. And the problem is, Heather, you had the Clinton Lynch tarmac meeting. You had Andrew Weissman, the number 2 at the FBI, who was conflicted out because of his wife's campaign's funding by a Clinton crony, Terry McAuliffe. And then, of course, you had Comey's machinations. Who knows what he was thinking at the time. But no one can trust that investigation last year. And to me, most Americans hear that there was classified information on the laptop of Anthony Weiner. They're probably thinking, why wasn't there a criminal investigation or any prosecution? Because that's happened to other people. We just had a segment on our Todd Pyro was talking about the sailor who was jailed because he took this picture inside of a submarine. You know, and Mrs. Clinton specifically was warned repeatedly about the use of unsecure systems to conduct government business, and she did it anyway. So forget about this intent or such. She had the intent. She knew what she was doing. And, of course, none of this would have happened but for having Mrs. Clinton's unsecure system set up in her bathroom or wherever it was. And if I were the Justice Department under President Trump, I would do what the American people elected them to do, which is to reevaluate what went on with respect to the Clinton criminal investigation and reinitiate it to make sure it's been done honestly and fairly, and the American people could be reassured that it hadn't been infected by politics. So, Tom, my question is, why is that not just a given that that would be happening? Why is there even a question that it wouldn't be happening and that the president has to send out this tweet suggesting that it needs to? Well, it's a real rule of law crisis over at the Justice Department that they are defending and protecting Hillary Clinton. And, Heather, unfortunately, it's no surprise to us. We're litigating in court now against the Justice Department, the State Department, the FBI, the Office of Director of National Intelligence over whether they'll even do a damage assessment as to whether there was national security damage by Hillary Clinton's mishandling of classified information. This Justice Department is defending Hillary Clinton, saying, well, it wasn't that serious, warranting a damage assessment. I think after learning about what was on Anthony Weiner's laptop, I think the president should demand a damage assessment and tell his appointees to stop with the fear-based decision-making, because I think they're all afraid of Hillary Clinton or taking on the Clinton machine, and enforce the rule of law here. And
not just the classified emails, also showing pay for play as well.
Well, you know, that's the big question. What happened to that investigation? Allegedly, it was going on last year. Was it ever closed? It ought to be reinvigorated or reopened if necessary, because remember, it was the Abedin emails that showed the pay for play, because she was the go-between between the Clinton Foundation and the State Department in terms of the favor game for Clinton Foundation donors who needed favors from the State Department.
Well, Tom, you're always ahead of what's going to happen next, so we look forward to hearing from you more because something else I'm sure is coming down the pike. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.